Good morning. I want to welcome you to Monday Mentorship. And I guess that if I were going to give you one of the best pieces of advice that a mentor should give somebody wanting to become a construction manager, it is that make sure that you live a balanced life. So I'm joining you from Montana, which is where we have a piece of property we're working on for our future retirement cabin. And so if I look refreshed and excited to be here with you, that is why. So I also want to just put a thank you out there to those of you that have signed up for the future cohort for our construction management essentials. And I also want to thank those companies who have trusted me with their employees in order to be able to build a bigger profit and production efficiency for your company. So we're going to go ahead and start right in on our questions. And so joining us in the Skill Builder, asking what our questions are for today. The first question is going to be, what are the best practices for managing project timelines and staying on schedule? So, one of the things that we have to understand when we're building a schedule is really planning. This is what a schedule is. This is the opportunity to be able to plan out how we want things to happen before implementation takes place. By doing this, we're able to reduce risk and we're able to manage our budget better. And so the first thing that we're really going to want to do is understand our project and have a detailed timeline. Now, this timeline needs to be realistic. I know sometimes we have some overconfident contractors who can really just move mountains, and they can do it in a very short period of time until the project starts. So I think that it's extremely important for those particular timelines. So putting contingencies in there are going to be safeguards that will be able to be put in place to protect us in case there are some unknown conditions or something that goes on in the project. The other thing that we want to make sure that we're doing as we're managing these project timelines is regularly monitor the progress. So that means that you're checking in with not only the general contractor, but the subcontractors, the owner. What's changed since we built this project? You know, we build a baseline project schedule at the very beginning of the project, but after the first day, it changes. And so we need to stay on top of those changes and keep everything current and be able to monitor that, knowing that it's going to change and that we just need to address how that change impacts that particular task, but then also impacts everything downstream. And that's how, when we're looking at this, we look at also keeping an eye on future tasks. So what is going to be going on in the next 3 or 4 weeks that might be impacted by what's happening today? I love a 3-week look ahead schedule. So bringing that into your coordination meetings and then being able to address real-time delays or things that are happening on your project or the progress of work has a really good historical data for when you have to look back on why did this delay occur or how did this impact the project. The other thing that we're going to do to manage our timelines is going to anticipate what is going to happen. Now, this is going to be tough if you don't have construction experience. And so I really encourage any and all of you that are on construction sites or able to go visit construction sites, even if it's parking alongside the curb as a residential development and watching the work, what's going on. When you are able to observe and watch the different tasks take place and understand the schedule and the order of precedence, and you can see what might happen if certain things are taking place. And the thing is I guarantee you it's happened to somebody else before. And so you're not observing it for the first time. So that means someone else has already been through it. They already have the answers to some of those questions. So being able to anticipate what might happen is going to help you in your management of your project timeline. And then we're always talking about effective communication, but meeting regularly with all stakeholders is going to be really important so that you know if something is coming up or something has changed and it hasn't been communicated down through the line and that the subcontractors don't know about it. So having a combined meeting, coordination meeting, is really important. I'll also say that some of these meetings can be really unproductive. And so make sure that when you're having a meeting that they're very short, they're very bullet point, they're very on task, so that when subcontractors or other individuals are asked to come to a full coordination meeting like that, they will be excited to come to future meetings because they know that they're not going to take up a lot of time, but they're going to be extremely valuable. So how do you do your project timelines? How do you figure out what is going to be happening on your projects? Again, like I said, I like the 3-week look ahead, but I would love for you to put in the comments anything that you like to do in order to be able to track progress on your projects. So that'll bring us to the next question, and that is, how do you handle unexpected issues or delays that arise during a project? So if there's one thing that we know about construction projects, it's that they are going to change. And so the first thing we need to do is to be able to stay calm. We know that this is probably something that someone else has already dealt with and has already taken care of. So we're going to try to find that mentor or that person, but we're going to do that while we're assessing the problem. Now, even in construction, we can have a little bit of trauma. So we want to make sure that we are being very clear about what the issue is. So sometimes it's not about the actual problem that has gotten us riled up. Sometimes there is a root problem that has been spinning for quite some time and developing into the landslide that we're now dealing with. So before focusing on what seems to be the problem, let's find that root problem and determine how this all started and what steps need to be taken in order for us to be able to redirect. And so once we are able to do this and we find that assessment, then we can adjust and modify our schedule and be able to implement some of those contingencies or some of those safety nets that we had put in place in order to be able to keep our schedule running smoothly. Now, recognize that sometimes we just have to stop. But anytime that you stop a project, you really are looking at a startup that has to happen that usually causes a little bit bigger problem than just trying to move forward. So it's very important that these types of issues and problems are dealt with as quickly as possible. You can't sit on it. And so being able to communicate and coordinate with everyone on the team, get their input or their perspective of what happened and what needs to be done, and then bringing it all together in one of those collaboration meetings where everyone feels that they're a part of the solution is going to be a great way to keep your project running smoothly. Then once you've got it determined and you communicate and coordinate with everyone, you let everyone know what's going on, and then you can start back off, hopefully on a fresh foot. So the next question is, what tips do you have for managing and motivating a diverse team of workers? So this is true for all of us, right? There's so many different people that are coming into the construction industry, not just different generations, which we seem to be talking about all the time. There's over 5 generations of individuals who have different dialect, have different beliefs or understandings of definitions of words even, but we also have a lot of people who are finding that construction is a very satisfying career. And so moving in from another discipline like accounting or business, and so bringing those skill sets into the construction industry, we want to be able to do is be inclusive. And so I think that this word kind of gets put out of context a little bit. So when we talk about inclusive, we want the entire team to be able to work together like a fine oiled machine. But that doesn't mean that everyone is going to work the same way or agree on the same things or have the same beliefs. And so when we talk about inclusive, we want to make sure that it is inclusive to that individual's understanding of what inclusive is. And so for some people, inclusive might mean everyone. For some other individuals, inclusive might mean the way that they think that it needs to happen. And so I think that one of the most important things that you can understand when you go into a diverse team is understanding each individual person, how they work, what are some of the things that they enjoy, what do they like. Being able to build trust in those relationships is going to be very important. But just being able to show them that you value their opinion, you value their experience, and even if they don't think that they have any experience, they have value in that conversation because they bring experiences from outside that are going to be able to contribute to that collaborative team effort. And this is going to show respect. And anytime that you're able to show someone a scale, a value scale that identifies and respects them, then this is going to make them want to work for you. This is going to be able to make them want to be loyal and want to be able to submit their very best to the project. One of the ways that we can also do this is by having very clear expectations. So when I say clear expectations, they might be really clear to me, but they might not be so clear to the person that I'm talking with. So it is important that you have them repeat back and explain in their own words what it is that they think that you're asking of them. This is going to do two things. First and foremost, it's going to help you understand if you're both on the same page, but it'll also give you a window into their thinking process and how they are interpreting the information that you're presenting. So it could be that you're presenting it in a way that is not clear, and they are reflecting that back to you and letting you know that it needs to be represented in a way that's more clear. Or you're presenting it very clear. It's just that they haven't progressed in their education of construction far enough to be able to understand what it is that you're asking. And so being able to break that down for them is going to be an excellent opportunity for both of you. First and foremost, for you to be able to teach your expertise, which will break it down in a way that is very chewable for them, and it'll help you develop mastery in your discipline. But it will also give them an appreciation of the time that you've taken to be able to help guide them through this particular task and how to be able to get it done. And so that in itself is a reward for both of you. But when they're able to see it and hear it and do it in that way, then that is going to have good results. And those good results need to be re-emphasized with a reward. It's so easy for us to get upset and mad when things don't go right. But instead of really being able to identify and choose and pick out on purpose those things that are done right so that we can reward those individuals on the team. The other thing to recognize is we want to educate and not retaliate. So in those situations where people might accidentally do something wrong, or they're in the learning process of something, instead of just jumping on them and getting on them, we need to be able to educate them on why what was done was wrong, how it could have impacted the safety or the profit of a project, and what needs to be done in the future. And going through that educational process is going to be able to put in place an opportunity that if it goes wrong again, then is when you can jump on them. So we want to make sure that we're giving people chances and that we've done everything that we can in order to be able to help them be successful before we tear them down. So by investing in training, like we have at Construction Management Online, it gives people an opportunity to create those opportunities for growth. It shows your team that you care about them and you care about the investment in their future and their future with the company. So being able to provide that is key. And when we're talking about how we can put together something that is able to help our teams, we can work on something with our education. And one of the things that we have here at Construction Management Online is the Skill Builder. So Skill Builder is a specific task mini course library that is provided by a membership opportunity that helps companies have something in place that can guide younger project managers or construction managers through the specific tasks on a project. One of the things, our newest class that we just brought out, is leveraging the power of AI in construction management. And this helps construction managers and superintendents be able to organize their ideas and their thoughts. It works as a grammar check or a spell check, and it allows us to be able to be more efficient and faster in some of our writing skills that maybe haven't been practiced in a while out in the construction job site. So I welcome you to go ahead and try this particular course. It has with it a 20 prompt, which is an instruction that happens with the class that we go. It's free. So if you jump on that and get your information in, we'll be able to get that to you. The next steps, again, we also have the cohort coming up for Construction Management Essentials. We would love for you to join us in that, where you can learn everything there is to learn in the first year of construction management, and just enjoy working with other people in the industry who are also like-minded, wanting to improve themselves, and join us with our Construction Management Online. We'll see you next Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and make sure that you subscribe to the newsletter at Construction Management Online to get more details about everything that happens in construction management